Keeps switching window on me while I'm trying to do it. Yeah, for some reason apparently I'm facing sideways even though I'm in my normal place, which is interesting. Yeah, okay, hey Mario. And I have no idea because it's Streamlabs and who the hell knows if it's just bullshitting. Right. Jeff, continue. Hopefully it'll load me in like the correct direction. Nope, it's loading me to the left. That's fine. Chat on, let me click into the chat to make sure it works. There we go. Working on Invisposing Force. Oh my, I am looking forward to and dreading playing your mod. Invisible Half-Life, it's going to be a bastard. And hey, better faster. Chat check. Chat is working apparently. Although, what's not helpful is the fact that my left eye is steaming up. How do Blue Shift once I obtain Blue Shift? It's not in Blue Shift. Oh, and there's no reason to in Blue Shift, I guess. I think one opposing force is definitely better than Blue Shift. Blue Shift isn't bad. I know there's people like say it's the worst thing ever and all that kind of crap, but yeah, fuck them. Right, what the hell was I doing? Why is my hand sticking up? Things you can say in VR. Oh god. Okay, yeah, this that way.
There's
yeah.
definitely
oh god,
a bunch of old bottles in here. Does alcohol go bad?
It only improves. It's all good, Alyx.
Russell, you're breaking up.
The vodka's good, Alyx. The vodka is good.
I do know Russ likes his vodka. Okay, we've got to be close to getting the known VR challenge done now. So you guys are actually contributing to that, and it's great. Oh god, there's 15 commentary notes for this one map. This is going to take a while. Okay, Jeff.
Some of our earliest experiments on the project involved placing old Half-Life 2 models in a level and walking around them in VR. These included static models of enemies, like Combine soldiers or zombies. We found that players really enjoyed being able to inspect these models because VR let them get much closer than they'd been able to in the past. Players reported getting a sense of the true size of the characters and would often point out details that they had never noticed before, even though they had seen these models many times throughout Half-Life 2. These reactions led us to the idea of creating an enemy that took advantage of that experience, one that required players to spend long periods of time in close physical proximity to it. But enemies typically don't let the player get near them without attacking, so we felt it made fictional sense for this enemy to be blind, and to feature non-combat gameplay as its focus. Early experiments with guiding a blind creature using sounds were immediately interesting, and gave us a way to create scenarios unique to the product. Thus, the concept for Jeff, known as the blind zombie internally, was born.
Wow, so they literally made it because they wanted something different and because people liked VR models. Oh yeah, I can see where they went with that. So that must have been pretty early on in design, considering they only used the like Combine soldiers and shit in the early development phase from what they've said so far. Maybe not stolen from Astros. Oh no, of course not. Valve don't steal ideas. They make things. And then other people retroactively steal them in the past. Zen ears. Oh yeah, that's these things. I've read about these things.
The Zen flora you see on the wall here, which we refer to as Zen ears for obvious reasons, animate in reaction to the same sounds as Jeff. Early in development, we would observe situations where playtesters would fail to notice Jeff becoming enraged by a sound. If the player died as a result, they felt frustrated and wronged. We worked to make Jeff's animations and sounds communicate his level of aggression to the player as clearly as possible. But if players weren't looking at Jeff, they could still be caught unaware. Adding these Zen ear growths to the environment was a way for us to help players be more aware of Jeff's reactions to sound. The Zen ears work as an extra layer of visual feedback for Jeff's behavioral state, one that lives in the environment instead of on Jeff himself.
Well, I didn't notice before you have like, I guess, 4 I want to say leaf versions and 3-leaf. I am way too easily amused by these things. Okay, barnacle. Go, reload. You gonna give me ammo? No, of course not. Why would barnacles do anything nice for anyone? Okay, there's a barnacle right there. That is a hell of a well camouflaged barnacle. Moments like that, it's kind of annoying that you can't use the torch whenever you want. Because that would be a perfect time to actually use it. Is that casual shot glass? I mean, actually, okay, I suppose this is a vodka plant, isn't it? Makes sense. Okay, I'm just going to search these for the usual bullets. There we go. Oh, come here. Anything else? Casually dance on the bar. Come on, you're a bar. Although you're a European bar, not an American bar, so probably less ammo involved. In fact, the Barnacle V model has no arm hands in the model. Why would a barnacle have arms and hands? I mean, I suppose they did originally have those like 10
Alyx,
little legs.
come in, Alyx. Alyx?
Early development.
Oh, there you are. There you are.
There's no straight shot to the vault. I'm gonna head inside and find a way out.
I missed that resin on the first playthrough, and now I'm not going to pick it up just because I don't need it. Can I just go down? Oh, it's not actually a ladder. That makes sense. Zen clams.
Alyx, you
Oh, is
never
that what
gonna
these
believe.
things are?
Russ?
Alright, let's learn about Zen clams.
Right from the beginning of development, we intended to feature a variety of visually distinct Zen flora and fauna in Half-Life Alyx. But we didn't yet know how these visual elements would be used to craft interesting gameplay. Referred to internally as Zen clams, the Zen plants you would see here were originally built to add visual flavor to the world and were only lightly interactive. They would track the player's head and hands and would close tight if the player got too close. When we began working on Jeff, we wanted to find surprising new ways to use sound as a core gameplay mechanic. In particular, we wanted to make players wary of the environment around them. We realized we could use the Zen clams as a type of noise hazard by having them repeatedly snap open and shut when approached by the player. We had already placed these clams in earlier parts of the game, which meant that players would reach the distillery with an understanding of how they functioned. The introduction of Jeff changed the player's relationship with the Zen clams, as they went from being harmless but annoying to a dangerous hazard that players would need to take care to avoid.
I like that. They seem to have the same sensor, I guess, potentially as the tentacles from Half-Life 1. Alright, I like that. And yeah, they definitely did change the relationship with the player. Because up until this point, they've been like, oh, these things are kind of cool. And then you meet Jeff, and you're like, I despise these things now.
Hey,
Larry.
you with the blood on you. You, with the blood. I got a little situation here.
Yeah, you sure do.
You don't happen to have a gun on you, do you? Oh, yeah, look at that. It's a nice one too.
I still don't get why this
Nicer than
barnacle isn't
mine,
just
which is up
easily
inside this guy.
killing this guy. Because the way he's gripping, like, that barnacle should be having no problems. Hey, Buster, a guy walks into a bar where
keep your tongue to yourself and I don't shoot you in it.
I've heard that one before and it's bloody glorious. Larry. Yes, you are Larry. Just keep struggling. We're just going to learn about you whilst you're struggling for your life.
Early versions of the distillery explored a variety of methods for subtlety, teaching players how Jeff works without any explicit exposition. Though some of the training techniques were quite successful, anything less than a complete understanding of Jeff's behavior resulted in players bungling their way through this section of the game and having a terrible time doing it. Eventually, we determined that explicit training was necessary, and that's where the character of Larry came in. Larry acts as a gate, delivering critical information about Jeff's behavior before allowing the player to proceed. It's a dense learning environment and a delicate balancing act, ensuring that we deliver the rules of Jeff while still making Larry an interesting character. To spread out the exposition, you'll notice that it's distributed over a few different story beats as Larry first introduces Jeff, then demonstrates Jeff's predictable reaction to a breaking bottle, and finally explains that the player can prevent their own coughing on Zen spores by covering their mouth.
That is it. I'm gonna cut the leg off. You win. Hope you choke on it. You
He's gonna cut his own leg off. Well, that's a bit excessive. Who is Jeff? Jeff... Oh, you'll see Jeff in a minute.
Thanks.
There you go, you just heard Jeff. It's
What the
fine.
hell was that?
Oh, that's Jeff.
Jeff?
Don't worry. You can't see. Ears. Just fine, you know? Got an ear like Mozart.
Who?
All right. Now let me help you out. All right. See you on the other side, Corridor. And keep your voice down.
Yeah, see, in Half-Life, there has never been an enemy like Jeff. I think the closest we've got lore-wise would maybe be the antlions, because they don't actually see, they only hear and sense your vibrations and stuff. But obviously the game pretty much acts like they can see, so gameplay-wise, it's still not them. Half-Life Rage mod is still coming, don't worry. I'm kind of catching up on the Alyx streams because
Watch this.
I've meant to have done like about another 5 of them and haven't.
See? He's totally predictable. But he will rip your arms off if he finds you.
Okay, I know how Jeff works, so that's all fine. There we go. No, nothing. I was hoping ammo? No, anything under the hat? No. Okay then, I want to keep the little lion. It's not a lion, it's a tiger. Just yeet this at Jeff. Hey, Jeff. He actually does react to it, amazing. Anything in there? No. Can I just, like, It's really fun to wind him up. Okay. Shouldn't have a source range, want to release it when... Yep, that's definitely not a question to me, that's fine. Okay, now Jeff can't actually attack you at these bits because I've tested.
You gotta cover your mouth.
Got it. Thanks.
Hey, I almost forgot. What's your name?
Alright.
Alyx. Alyx Vance.
Hey, Alyx. I'm Larry. Nice to meet you. Try not to get killed.
I'll try. No promises. I love the fact it makes a comment about the helmet. It's great. What I didn't think of is that I'm playing Campaign Plus, so maybe Jeff's rules have changed. Maybe I should be more careful. Oh god, no, go back. Coughing.
A core element of both the environment and Jeff himself are the Zen plants seen here spewing toxic gas that makes the player cough. These were not created to be merely ornamental or to support the novel VR interaction of players covering their mouth. They were added specifically to solve a long-standing challenge that we had with illustrating Jeff's personal space. One of the trickier aspects of designing Jeff was striking the right balance between perceived threat and actual threat. Many scenarios in the level forced the player into close proximity with Jeff in order to create tension. We found that these moments could be exciting, but they could also become frustrating when players accidentally got too close to Jeff and were killed unexpectedly. Players reported not understanding how close is too close. We tried a number of solutions, such as adding glowing tentacles to Jeff that acted as a visual representation of the perimeter of his personal space. Touch the tentacles, and you die. Getting the look and feel of these tentacles to a satisfactory place proved challenging, however, and we backed away from the idea. Another problem we encountered was that a subset of our players quickly became comfortable around Jeff once they became adept at keeping their distance from him and avoiding sources of noise. For these players, dealing with Jeff felt trivial. He simply didn't feel like a threat to them. We discussed a variety of potential solutions to these problems, even wacky concepts, such as giving Jeff the ability to teleport to sources of noise. But it was difficult to come up with ideas that didn't feel like we were giving Jeff the ability to cheat. Eventually, we came up with the idea of having the player cough. This was appealing, as it gave us a way to make the player themselves a source of noise, thus causing Jeff to pursue them. We were also interested in making the environment more dangerous generally, and so our first experiments with coughing involved littering the level with Zen plants spewing toxic gas. Initial tests showed a lot of promise. Players now felt like Jeff was a dangerous pursuer, and they must carefully observe the environment to avoid the gas. We observed that players had a natural instinct to cover their mouth with their hand to suppress their cough. This was an affordance that VR with tracked hand controllers supported very naturally, so we implemented this mechanic right away. This still left us with the problem of players being unsure of how close they could safely get to Jeff. We realized that the early experiment of adding tentacles to Jeff could be replaced with a much simpler approach of attaching a toxic cloud directly to him. There were multiple benefits to this. First, it gave players visual feedback for how far they needed to stay away from Jeff to be safe. Second, it made those times when Jeff did get close all the more tense, with players now needing to commit a hand to covering their mouth. Finally, we didn't need to teach the players anything new. They could carry forward what they had already learned about toxic gas in the environment and apply those lessons to Jeff himself.
Okay, getting out of the toxicity. Okay, the whole Jeff tentacle idea, I kind of like it if they were going to go with the like classic Half-Life 1 tentacle stuff, because that'd be a nice little callback, but I gotta admit the coughing mechanic works a hell of a lot better. So I'm glad they stuck with that. And having Jeff teleport, yeah, that would have been bullshit. So, just no. Does this helmet have spikes? Yes, this helmet does have spikes. I'm presuming it's an anti-headcrab helmet. It's like, headcrab jumps on you, it may kill you and zombify you, but you'll kill the little bastard as well. Always forgives having a one texture, one model thing. Gearbox has done some things right over the years. Not many, but some. The reason for the combined gas mask is going. Agreed, it does. So yeah, you've had combined gas masks throughout the whole game, obviously, well, presumably left over from these guys. But up until this point, they've literally just been an environmental detail. Whereas now, they're more. Give me the thing, thank you. Well, I'm going to stand over here and do it. Single controller mode, alright?
One of our major goals in the design of Half-Life Alyx was to reach the widest possible audience. This meant developing for all of the major VR hardware in the market, as well as accommodating different sized play spaces, traversal preferences, and so on. The accessibility option that had the most knock-on effects into the design of the game, from controller bindings, to game logic, to level design, was the support of a single controller mode, for players who don't use two controllers. In this mode, reloading is performed by moving the weapon to the shoulder and pressing a button, much like arcade games which require the player to fire their weapon off-screen to reload.
Okay.
The flashlight was modified to attach to the primary hand, and gas masks were added so that players could muffle their coughs hands-free. Even the gun used in the final Strider battle, with its two-handed aiming and reloading controls, was modified to be operable with one hand.
Okay, like the whole concept of just doing a one-handed controller playthrough, that just seems really weird. Obviously it's accessibility, etc., but I kind of want to try it just to see what the differences are, see how it really does affect the gameplay. So I might do that as like a stream, just testing out or just have right hand or whatever. Okay, moving on to 7 out of 15. Jeff's attack. Fucking brutal attack from what I remember.
As we refined Jeff's behavior and visual design, we thought a lot about how we wanted players to feel about him. The goal was to have playtesters describe Jeff with words such as menacing, threatening, and deadly, and for that reason it became important that players not survive if they got too close to Jeff. So we decided that his attack should result in instant death. This would teach players unambiguously that Jeff was too dangerous to trifle with, but it left us with the challenge of teaching this to players without necessarily killing them. The approach we took was to give the player opportunities to witness Jeff attack and kill other characters. Early versions of the level included scenarios where Jeff and the player would encounter zombies and Combine soldiers. The player could attack these enemies, or use sound to lure Jeff into place so that he could pummel them with his massive arms. This gave players an opportunity to witness Jeff's power and his method of attack without dying at his hands themselves. Unfortunately, this outcome wasn't guaranteed, as some players would opt to kill those enemies themselves, and having these other characters present was also quite expensive in terms of animation, sound, and level content. We were already grappling with the challenge of keeping this level well-paced and within scope, and so we cut these sections. But this still left us with the original problem of how to demonstrate Jeff's ability to kill without killing the player. We chose to address this by adding beats to existing animated sequences. For example, when the player opens this two-handed roller door, we added a head crab for Jeff to munch on in full view of the player. We also added a similar beat to the later elevator ride, with Jeff smashing a head crab against a wall before melting it down with acid.
So it's acid. I mean, I probably could have guessed that from the fact it literally fucking dissolves things, but... yeah, that was... I think I pointed this out when I did my first playthrough as well. The fact you see Jeff kill the head crab, and the player knows Jeff is not to be fucked with. So they did well. I think it would have been kind of cool if we managed to keep maybe a couple of Combine in, or a couple of other enemies that you can maybe alternatively let Jeff deal with, or deal with yourself. That would have been nice, but I guess if it didn't play out well gameplay-wise, then I can see why they would cut that. Training alcove, which I presume is this alcove.
Even though Larry instructs the player on the basics of how Jeff works, we found that we needed to let players test those rules without having Jeff in their immediate personal space. If we made players first interact with Jeff face to face, they often fell to pieces and forgot the rules. They would die over and over again, and their fear of Jeff would quickly turn into frustration and annoyance. This area was created to serve as a training playground, where players can observe Jeff reacting to various sounds while remaining safe from his attacks.
Okay.
It contains many of the elements that are encountered throughout the rest of the level, including some falling bottles, a padlock that needs to be shot, and various types of Zen plants. Jeff remains close enough to feel threatening, but he cannot attack the player. Players can spend as much time here as they need to, and move on when they feel like they've got a good grip on how Jeff works.
Okay, yeah, perfect design. As always from Valve. Like, I didn't even register this is what they were doing. Like, I just thought it was a nice little safe spot to hide from, but no. Thinking about it, you've got the clams, you've got the Zen ears, you've got the bottles, you've got the padlock, you've got the falling stuff, you've got literally every element. Damn, they've thought this through. I mean, you kind of hope they did, wouldn't you? Beat this with one hand in two-hand mode. I don't even know if that's physically possible because there's one door. Would be interesting though. It's not to be fucked with. I mean, he's not to be fucked with. It's Jeff. I mean, if you tried to fuck Jeff, you'd literally dissolve. So. Oh, alright, door. Sup, Jeff? I like how Jeff is like a dog. He has to bring his meal to the other place first, then dissolve the head crab. Can't just, you know, do it in any old room. It has to be a specific room. I accidentally got the achievement last time I played this level, but to be next to him for I think it's 10 seconds without, you know, dying. It was completely accidental. But fuck it, I got it. Oh god, oh god, oh god. Go, go, go. Okay, Jeff's design. We're going to learn whilst running from Jeff. This is going to be a bastard.
Jeff's character design went
just going to save a second.
Through several significant revisions over the course of development. Just by looking at him, we wanted players to understand certain things about the character. Our first priority was to communicate his blindness. Second, we wanted the character to feel physically imposing. After all, the entire concept of Jeff had grown out of our observation that just being close to a character in VR could make for a powerful experience. Finally, we wanted players to understand the blind zombie's behavioural state at a glance. Is he feeling angry? Did he just hear something and is feeling curious? And so on. The first design that we modelled and animated was a sort of Combine worker robot. The robot's face featured a holographic display that could flip between different icons that represented its state. A large piece of rebar jutted out of the back of the robot's head, sparking electricity and spewing smoke. This was meant to demonstrate that its visual sensors were impaired, making it blind. We made the robot tall and hulking. It looked heavy, unpredictable and dangerous. However, player reactions to this robotic design showed that it had problems. Players would initially focus on the head's holographic display. Parsing the face and understanding the meaning of the icons proved too challenging for players, and even worse, this element distracted from the rebar poking through the robot's head, and their understanding that it was blind. Players found the robot imposing, but we weren't getting the deeply visceral reaction of fear that was desired. A trip back to the drawing board landed us with the more organic character you see in front of you. Drawing inspiration from the idea of coal miners succumbing to the black lung, we focused on the concept of a member of the Combine's Zen cleanup crew that had succumbed to the Zen infection. This gave us the visceral reaction from players which we were looking for. A human face is still visible, but the eyes are clearly decayed, communicating blindness. The organic nature of this design allowed us to lean more heavily on audio to feed back the behavioural state, with animalistic grunts and roars that came to include more human-sounding elements over time.
Okay, while I love the idea of a Combine robot, I am very, very glad they didn't go with the Combine robot idea. So I feel like that would have just been absolutely shit in this section. Like, it doesn't really make a lot of sense for a Combine robot to be here anyway. It's Combine are only just moving back in here. Whereas Jeff, it's perfect, it fits in. He's infested. A human has become infested by all the spores and the fungus and all the crap. It works. It works beautifully. Am I supposed to be doing this yet? What am I doing? Oh, I've got to call the thing, don't I? Hold on. Getting ahead of myself. Now we wait. Yeah, I wonder what else they would have done with a Combine robot, because obviously, Jeff, you have a proximity thing. Would it have just literally walked around and stuff, or would they have, I don't know, made it have electrical arcs near it? There's many a possibility. There's a thing there. Shit. Freeze the toner puzzle. Let's do it.
Toner puzzles are a useful design tool, since they force players to move around the environment and also occupy their primary hand via use of the multi-tool. In this area, the player has to aim their flashlight to navigate, point their offhand to teleport, cover their mouth to prevent coughing, follow wires with the multi-tool, and potentially pull bottles with their gravity gloves. The player has to make trade-offs as they proceed, since their two hands are overcommitted by design. One-handed players are even more overwhelmed by these many tasks. This is why we littered the distillery with gas masks the player can attach to their mouth so they won't have to use a hand to muffle their cough. This toner puzzle went through several revisions, many of which left Jeff free to roam while players worked on the puzzle. But this resulted in players having to juggle too many elements at once, and their fear of Jeff quickly turned into frustration. The solution was to keep Jeff locked up while players solved the puzzle, with his distant roars maintaining a level of tension. We were then left with the problem of how to release Jeff so the level could continue. Initial ideas involved having Jeff break out from the freezer on his own when the puzzle was complete, but this felt contrived and scripted compared to having the player free Jeff from the freezer. The toner puzzle mechanic gave us a logical solution to this problem, with the added benefit of creating a moment of high tension for the player when they realize they're going to have to open the freezer door and release Jeff in order to proceed.
They've really got the tension going, alright, because the first playthrough, opening this door, felt like one of the worst decisions of my bloody life. Still feels like a terrible decision. Right. Jeff, fuck off over there. What's in there? Shit, there's ammo. Come on, there we go, there we go. Even getting ammo out of a bloody box is incredibly intense now. Is that something else up there? Behind that? Or is that just a glow from that? I think that's just a glow from that, okay. Oh right, yeah, the sound speaker. We want that off. So I don't want Jeff bloody coming in here, fucking around, and then spewing me in a shower of acid. That just doesn't sound fun. Okay, so Jeff's now down there. Right, so I need to distract him. Give me that and... Oh, my hand. Elevator ride. Go for it.
Many of our ideas for Jeff involved coming up with plausible ways to force Jeff and the player to occupy an enclosed space at
You're
the same
assholes
time.
for doing it.
An elevator ride was on the table from the beginning, but we were unsure of how successful it would be in execution. There was also a concern that such a sequence could be technically expensive to pull off. Our first prototype was extremely rudimentary. Players would get into an elevator with Jeff, the ride would last around 30 seconds, and then Jeff and the player would exit. There was no complicated level scripting, no bespoke animations for Jeff, and no special audio or lighting treatment. Despite the relative lack of polish, players had a strong positive reaction to the sequence, even naming it a highlight of the game when we ran company-wide playtests. This convinced us that it was worth putting more work into the elevator ride to make it something really special. In the end, a lot of different disciplines came together to create the final sequence, which combines sound, animation, scripted lighting, and careful choreography of Jeff's movements and the player's actions.
They have achieved their goals with absolute perfection. I do love how the head crab... I think he actually thought he had a chance. But I keep going to the wall. Interesting as well that the acid only seems to dissolve organic material. Doesn't seem to actually affect the walls and things. That could just be a gameplay related thing, obviously. Alright, Jeff, you just need to fuck off. I hate Jeff so much. It's like a difficult Friday night. Oh god, I have an itch. There we go. So how did these guys die? Like, because if it was Jeff, surely they'd be dissolved. If it was head crabs, they'd be zombified. I suppose there could have been other zombies that were in here and killed the Combine Squad, maybe? Okay, so we need to go... Oh, open the fucking door. I can't open the door. Okay. Shit, that way. Well, I'm happy that so far they haven't actually put in more stuff, like enemies and stuff, to screw you over. GK grabs escape. You mean cheeky head crab's death? Little bitch ain't escaping? Right, I will listen to this once I'm in safety. I never thought I'd have to take a bloody commentary note with me. So, cheeky head crab's escape.
Most of the time, the noises that attract Jeff are created by the player, who is either actively trying to lure him to a new location, or has perhaps made a noisy mistake that could have been avoided. The key point being that the player feels some amount of responsibility for the noises being made. The goal of the upcoming hallway was to flip that idea on its head, if only for a moment. Like a misbehaving pet, this cheeky headcrab appears to surprise and infuriate the player, clumsily knocking over a series of bottles before escaping into a vent. Classic headcrab nonsense. We were surprised to find that many players wanted to check and see if the headcrab had indeed escaped. They would climb up onto the boxes and crane their head up into the vents. This prompted the idea of adding a small Easter egg to reward those players. Try it, and you'll find that the cheeky crab has indeed escaped to be annoying another day.
Wait,
the cost of adding these sorts of secrets needs to be weighed against the potential for players to actually discover them. In this case, our playtest observations made the cost appear worth it, in particular for the impact it would have in making the world feel more real. A full reality where living creatures go about their lives, even if the player isn't there to witness them.
I have no idea, because I'm too tall or I'm too short to actually go in there, which is great. But there was resin in there. Cheeky bit of bloody resin. Okay, go down, go down. I knocked it over without smashing it. I have no idea how the fuck I did that, but I did it. Okay, so I need to go through here. Like, there are always just bodies lying around. You know, I can't argue with that. These bodies have no suspicious markings. How did they die? They didn't. They just sort of appeared. They were always dead. They never lived. I guess it's also possible. Oh, thinking about it, antlions. Antlions were around here, weren't they? Antlions could have done it. Fuck it, I'll go with that. Oh shit, bloaters. There we go. Is that a complete waste of ammo? Yes. Do I care? No. Okay. Yeah, here comes the antlions. Release the pieces.
Alyx,
Oh
coming
god,
in.
alright.
Hey, Alyx.
Oh.
There you are. Can you hear me?
More or less. You're breaking up.
Oh, fuck this bit.
You're still in the distillery.
I made a friend named Jeff.
Well, that's great. We can take all the help we can get.
Yeah, we're not really close.
Jeff
Listen, there should be a big tunnel-sized plug in the floor there somewhere. That's gonna be...
The tunnel out of here?
correct. You get it open, I'll figure out where it leads.
Combine force fields, okay? Now we're going to learn about combine force fields. I mean, surely there's been a lot of other places they could have put this one, but... Alright.
Since the entire premise of Jeff hinged on keeping Jeff and the player in close proximity to each other, the distillery map was constructed as a series of chambers connected by one-way transitions. Early on, we used two techniques in concert to keep Jeff and the player together throughout the level. First, each new area was gated with a special locked door. These took the form of impenetrable Zen membranes that only Jeff could tear through. The player would lure Jeff to the membrane using sound, and Jeff would break it open so that both Jeff and the player could proceed. We had always had a goal of having players describe Jeff in adversarial terms, as a constant pursuer or a thorn in their side. The problem with the Zen membrane concept was that it led to players describing Jeff as a useful tool, or worse, an angry co-op partner, rather than something they feared. Another way that we would keep Jeff and the player together was via the use of one-way drops. Jeff would fall off catwalks, platforms, and ladders into each new area. These drops functioned as intended, but just like the Zen membranes, elicited an undesirable reaction from players, especially when repeated multiple times. Watching Jeff do these pratfalls left players feeling like he was less dangerous. They felt sorry for him, and even laughed at him.
Damn, did they regret that mistake?
We realized that we could use combined force fields, which the player cannot pass through, as a way to create one-way doors. These force fields allowed Jeff to move through them, but required the player to follow via another one-way path. This allowed us to build thresholds where Jeff and the player could both move forward while eliminating the awkwardness of the Zen membranes, and avoiding the repeated falls that had previously made Jeff look so clumsy. Combined force fields also had a few other benefits. For one, they gave Jeff a convenient way to take a backstage route that is inaccessible to the player, like the one at the bottom of this ladder. They also tied in nicely with Jeff's fictional background as a former member of the Combine Zen cleanup crew.
I mean, I feel like they need to, first before I say that, obviously great mechanic, great idea. As I said, I don't need to expand on that, do I? Like, it's pretty clear. He needs to get point A to point B, he can't follow the same route as you, so... Combine force fields, makes sense. But they need to update their tech. Because, granted, that was a Combine worker, but surely the force field should kind of go, unknown biological infestation detected, maybe we shouldn't let this thing through. Unless these things really just, I don't know, maybe they work on microchips or something. So I guess we don't really know what they detect, they just don't let, they let objects through. So it can't be microchips and stuff that they work on. Oh no. Right. Jeff. Fuck off. Good man. Right. Okay, yes, the barnacle. 70 models left. Good luck, Mario! Also, get the ladder down. Bastard. There we go.
I hate you, Jeff.
I love the fact she does that dialogue as well. It sums up every player's feeling at that moment.
Nicely die.
So we've got at least another 2 more commentary notes somewhere. I'm going to imagine one's probably in the final area down there. So this stream today is probably going to be quite a short stream compared to normal because I am doing other stuff. So we'll probably literally just do this one chapter and then call it. Ah, you're coming this way, are you? That's unfortunate. Sounds. Alright.
Creating an experience with such a heavy focus on audio presented some unique design problems. The primary challenge was determining which sounds Jeff should be able to hear and making sure that players understood the rules. Half-Life Alyx contains a vast array of physics objects. However, through playtesting we found it best to use only a small set of them in the distillery. We needed to pay close attention to each object that we did include, particularly to audio design for collisions between the object and the various surface types used in the distillery. It was important that what players heard matched their expectations for how Jeff would react. In early testing, we would find individual cases where players would say things like, "I don't know why Jeff got angry," or "I would have expected that noise to attract Jeff." Over time, we identified these cases of confusion and addressed them one by one. It was vital that players always be able to identify the cause and effect of a noise that might attract Jeff. Failing this meant players were left feeling like Jeff acted randomly and they'd grow frustrated. Some experiments failed in this area. At one point, parts of the level were littered with piles of broken glass that would make noise if the player walked or teleported over them. Few players would notice the broken glass and were then surprised when Jeff attacked, so this concept was cut to avoid confusion. We had to be wary of the opposite case too, where players would expect purely aesthetic elements to present a noise hazard. For example, at one point we had placed shallow pools of water seeping in among the floor tiles. It looked really cool, but it confused some of our playtesters who thought that the sound of their footsteps splashing through these puddles would be audible to Jeff, even though we never intended that to be the case.
Okay, yeah, as someone who's obviously played games before where sound is definitely a thing, usually water and glass are the 2 standard things game devs use, so if they'd put water in, I would have assumed that that would have attracted Jeff as well. So
That's it.
I can see why that was changed. I mean, we're kind of glad they did get rid of that because, wow, that would be fucking annoying. Part of me would have loved it because it's a really cunty design choice. The other part of me would have absolutely hated Valve for life. I mean, that's a lie. No, I wouldn't hate Valve for life, would I? They've given me more Half-Life. How can I hate them? They must have my never-ending love. Oh yeah, the only door in the game that doesn't open that bloody direction. Oh shit, oh shit, oh shit, where's he going? He's going over there. Oh, fuck me. Oh! That's why I couldn't open it. Alright. That's fine. Okay, I need Jeff back out here. Give me a bottle so that I can loot this place to high heaven afterwards. Which will be absolutely great. Which way are you coming? Which way are you coming? That way? Alright. Okay. Okay, well that's the proof that we've had zombies in it. Right, so which one of these has... Oh, you have ammo. Okay. Gently put it down. I feel like I don't even want to talk. Because I know I'm meant to be being quiet, and it's that bloody immersive, but I'm trying to remember to actually speak. Just fucking... No, just put it down. Put it down. Let go. I'm not even gripping. Why are you gripping? Fucking hell. I was not pressing to grip, and Alyx was like, ooh, bottle. Alyx is becoming an alcoholic, confirmed. No. Give wait the fuck. Oh my god. Give me that. There we go. Anything I care about? It's only health, I don't need that. Is this the one that things fall out of? No. There we go, got that. Grab that. Okay, I think this is the bullshit one. Again, she didn't let go when I let go. I don't know why that's bugging out, because I haven't had that before. Unless it's designed that your, I don't know, hands are particularly, like, sticky or some crap during this section. Well, they would have said that in the devlog, surely.
And there we go.
No, because principle. Oh my gosh, they just gonna write contact with lecture. Oh my gosh, they don't that's any of these. It's an exposure can result in permanent blindness. Oh, okay. Oh, so there is actually like a precedent, or not for Jeff, but you know what I mean. It makes sense that Jeff is the way he is. Shut the fuck up, Combine. At least it's not a permanent off-world assignment. Okay. Right, I need to make a noise here, don't I? Because then that attracts Jeff out. There we go. Wait, does Jeff come out of there? That's a yes. Alright.
What the hell is that?
That's Jeff.
I don't cover my mouth, let's look at my dome.
Oh, okay. I don't like Jeff.
Does he care yet? No, he doesn't care yet. Alright, I can wait. Jeff, buddy, you good? Go on, Jeff. In you go. There, my hand was not even near the switch. Like, it's grabbing and I'm not telling it to... Actually, that's so weird. I haven't noticed that before. Hey, Jeff. Hey, Jeff, guess what? Now I'm going to leave him to be eternally tortured. Because I haven't actually got the achievement for sparing his life yet. What that says about me, I'll let you guys decide. Have some resin. Have everything. Oh god, is someone coming in? Yep, someone is coming in. Hi. How are you? I can't hear anything you're saying, it's got a headset on. Okay, Jeff's death, I mean... he lives. Just an Oculus glitch. Okay, that's fine.
Figuring out how to end the player's journey through the distillery involved a lot of discussion about how players would ultimately end up feeling about Jeff.
I really want to kill him.
Observing playtests told us that most players simply wanted him dead, usually from the moment they met him, but there were some who felt kind of sorry for him and didn't necessarily want to see him killed.
Why? He's only some
Our
shitty
first
combine
version
worker.
of the ending involved the player's actions unintentionally resulting in Jeff being attacked and dragged away by antlions.
Oh,
Part
that
of the
would've been
goal was to
satisfying.
demonstrate that the antlions are even more powerful than Jeff, to amp up the tension just before players have to square off against antlions themselves. This ending left players feeling a little empty. They felt detached from Jeff's demise and wanted to be more directly involved. Dark stuff, to be sure. Plus, we weren't really servicing those players who felt sorry for Jeff and didn't necessarily want to see him killed. There were other problems too. The antlion attack felt random to many players, which reduced its impact. And because Jeff presumably died off-screen, players were left without a sense of closure. This prevented players from being able to switch gears and settle in for their encounter with the antlions. The trash compactor was a solution to these problems. It gave players the opportunity to decide Jeff's fate and be left with a sense of closure whether they decided to squash him or just leave him imprisoned. Even so, it has to be admitted that most players seem to crush Jeff with zero hesitation.
Hello.
Monsters.
Oh, you can call you a monster. Nice. Nice Portal vibes. No, this time we're sparing Jeff literally because of the achievement. As soon as I got that achievement, he's dying in every other playthrough I do.
Whoa, what did you do to Jeff?
Yeah, I trapped Jeff in the trash compactor.
Jeff
Well,
fucked.
I hope you came across some of the good stuff. I'll see you around.
Okay, the coast is clear. Time to get that plug open so we can get through those tunnels.
Game. Thank you. Yeah, things really aren't being as responsive as they normally are today. I'm not sure. Oh, I think Steam VR had an update for me. I'm really hoping that hasn't broken something. I'll verify it after this. See if anything's bugged out. Right.
Good news! That tunnel heads to the vault.
Great. Also, little heads up. I think the tunnel is full of antlions. Just in case I cut out permanently.
Antlions. Antlions.
Yeah, you know, aliens with stabby legs.
Oh, yes, and very small, like ants.
I would love to see a tiny antlion.
Like tiny little lions.
Oh, you can actually outrun the dialogue. That's awkward, I didn't think I'd be able to. Half-Life 1, but every texture is missing. Is that not something else you're working on, Mario? But yeah, so today was only a really short stream, literally just doing the Jeff chapter. It looks like there was nothing different about that chapter compared to standard campaign. No additional head crabs fucking you over, or combined soldiers coming in, or... I was expecting maybe a couple of zombies or something, but nothing. So that was literally just a standard playthrough of Jeff, I guess. So next time will be... oh god, that'll probably be Saturday, unless I get a craving one evening to do some Half-Life Alyx. And then we're going to start facing off against the Antlions. I think it's the zoo chapter next. I'm pretty sure that's where this leads. Oh, we'll soon find out. Surely the antlion combat's going to be changed. I'm expecting maybe more antlions, potentially them putting in antlion spitters alongside the antlion soldiers. Things like that, and obviously more combined troops and that kind of thing. Captivity, yes. Yeah, because the chapter name is a play on the fact that animals are held captive in zoos, and the fact that, you know, you find out about the vault and captive things and all that kind of thing. Which I wholeheartedly approve. I don't know if I delete every texture from Half-Life 1 it would turn black. It didn't work. Oh, well, did it just bug the game out instead? Let me see if I can actually change the screen stuff without actually coming out of VR, because then I can be incredibly lazy. Yes, hopefully you guys have enjoyed the stream. Yeah, okay, it was about an hour stream. That's not too bad for a Sunday. So next stream is going to be tomorrow at the usual time, and that's going to be continuing on with the Ink and Ruin City of Tomb Raider Level Editor. And then Tuesday we'll be going back to Mass Effect 2 Legendary Edition on Insanity. That's going to be interesting. And then Wednesday, Thursday, Friday is just continuing Mass Effect. I'll probably be doing something co-op on Tuesday evening, depending on what's going on. And then Saturday, Half-Life Alyx. Yeah, so I can see that the Gnome VR challenge is so damn close. We're at like 98% completed. So probably some point during the week, I imagine that'll be finished off, and then we can do the Gnome run. And as I know, Joe Picard, you were obviously here last night as well, so you already know this, but for anyone else who's watching, we're probably going to be doing it on hard difficulty. So not only am I going to be going up in the world, difficulty-wise, we're also going to be getting completely and utterly slaughtered brutally, because we're casually carrying a gnome. Oh, it's going to be interesting. Retexture Wally gives me an empty WAD message. Should leave one texture anyway. Ah, I see the issue. Okay, well, Mario, I wish you luck on your modding. I really do. Okay, let me put the subs up. I'm still in VR. This is interesting doing this. You can see me actually on this one, can't you? Yeah, it's me on VR. My head's cut off by the thing. Yeah, literal head crab. Finish it off in 2 streams, just no one else does. Okay, cool. Well, I guess you guys will be. Well, at least you'll be finished yet. Can I back up anymore? Hold on. It's about that. Fuck it. Especially gonna get. It's really trippy to see yourself in VR. Like that is weird. Yeah, it happens. Yes, as always, thank you to everyone, and I will see you guys hopefully tomorrow, depending on if you're watching Tomb Raider or not. If you're not, then Tuesday or Saturday or whatever the fuck you're joining for, really. So until then, everybody, oh god, this is what I look like when I'm aiming. Oh, that's kind of cool. Yeah, take care. I would smile, but you know you can't really see me, can you? So yeah. Thank you, Mario. I forgot. Links.